Get out of the circus. Yes, get out of the damn circus. Because when you think about it, who are you fooling? You see, in the circus, we have a performer, we have the tools being used, we have the stage, we have the agenda. Oh, tickets have to be paid. So someone has to buy those tickets. So the lights, the camera, depending on their place and space. And then everyone speaks and says whatever they're saying, or does their performance. But you as the audience can decide, maybe this isn't my type of environment. What do I mean? What do I mean? Why am I speaking kind of a hidden language? That's not hidden. It's very simple. Who's the circus? The performance is the stadium where all the lies are being spilled. Doesn't matter where it is, whether it's in a political rally, whether it's in social media, it doesn't really matter. Where's the ticket? Is the information being sold at you? Where there's propaganda, where there's misinformation, where there's hatred being spilled. Who's the audience? You. Who's the performer? Could be a political person, could be a rally, could be a performer, a content creator, could be anyone who's playing by the games and by the rules of whatever agenda is on the table. But what happens when you stop listening to the information? There's no one to sell to, no one to buy the ticket. You see, we have a choice to decide, I don't want to play this game. I don't want to be in hatred. I don't want to accept hatred. I can choose to love. You know why? Because the syllabus of hatred, we do have a choice. We can choose to drop it. You can go to school and decide, well, there's this particular unit, it's not working for me. What do? You drop it. Why do you drop it? Well, it's not working for you. So what happens when you decide that you're not playing by the games? Because at the end of the day, hatred is taught. You have a choice not to. If I look at my upbringing, the way we were brought up in a way in a country whereby we were told to hate ourselves more. It's like telling the victim, you deserve to be a victim. How was this done? Even in the education system. For example, English. English isn't my native language. It is the language that was colonially imposed. Now, why would I use it right now? Because, well, sadly, it's the only way I can communicate to someone on the other end. But we have our local language. We also have our ethnic language. Within the ethnic language, we have different dialects. So you go back again and ask yourself, why then? Because when you teach people to hate themselves more, they accept any agenda that is imposed on them. They are taught that they're more entitled or they're more privileged to like this thing, yet it is their own thing. Imagine someone coming to your land and telling you this land is better in their hand than in your hand, and that the crumbs from the table are good for you. And you are there saying, thank you, master. That's what's going on. And when we keep allowing such behaviors, we keep hating one another. Who wins? It's the one who've allowed. But if you never allow them to your land, if you never accepted them, you still be good. You see, we hate each other, but for what cause? When you are in trouble, let me give a very good example. Let's say you're stuck in a lift. You're going to this office, this building, and then the lift gets stuck. The person next to you is your only hope of sanity. Now, they could be paranoid, they could be okay, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, their behavior does affect you. And so at some point, you two have to get along to survive in that lift up until the time it will open. Some could be 9 hours, 8 hours, 6 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, worst case a day. But now you're stuck with this person whom you don't know and relying on them. Another example, you're in traffic, heavy traffic, nowhere in, nowhere out, you're all stuck in one area. Everyone in their private cars, 2 by 2, 1 by 1, and then you have the public car, but you're all stuck in one area. Well, you realize your phone has to be dropped and you have to engage with the person next to you, whether in your car or outside the car. You start talking, you start laughing, and then remember there was a life before technology. It's called community. Next thing you guys know, you agree. You say, fine, if you are stuck on one route, can we find another route? So you switch off your cars and you start walking around, trying to figure out where you guys are stuck, if there's a shortcut. And then you map it out, and then you tell the others, guys, there is a shortcut. This happens a lot, actually, even in our country, where people are driving, they get stuck, and after hours of deliberating, first everyone is on their phone, or social media, or this, or that. Then people realize, okay, dokie, we can actually talk to each other like people, like humans should. And so people start talking. Next thing you know, they agree. When they're talking, nobody is asking the other person, what's your tribe? What's your race? What's your political belief? What's your ideology? What's your religion? No. You only have one common thing. How do we get out of this mess? So you all come together and you start to map out this place you guys are stuck. Eventually, people end up figuring out, oh, if you go left, left, right. So cars that never got along become 10, 20, 50, an entourage. And eventually they all get out of the mess. So do we need to be in a situation where we have a mess to realize that we can actually get along? We don't need to accept this hatred spewed on us, whether by globalists, whether by politicians, whether by people with their agendas. We can actually get along if we choose to. It doesn't matter your tribe, your race, your religion, because at the end of the day, humanity remains to be humanity. I need you, you need me. Simple, clear. When disaster strikes, you're the person who's left or right to you whom you need to get to the other area. When there's flooding, it's the person next to you who will help you. It's not the one on the digital side. It's the one who's physically there. In the country, we're always told to even hate even working hard for our own self. We are told more that it is better to work for an organization that is from the Western nations. So that's where the NGOs came, because in this country, since I was a kid, NGOs have been thriving and thriving. At first, we bought the idea, so it was sold to us. You work so hard, so you get it on NGO, and then you get money, yada, yada, yada. You grow up, you start investigating these NGOs, then you realize, hold up, 3/4 of them have so many agendas. Then you realize, wait up, why are they located in rich neighborhoods? Not your normal typical place. They're not in the city, no. You have to go to these rich neighborhoods. And then it's normally a house. There's a parking. Literally is like a house. Just take any random 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom house. That's your NGO office. Simple and clear. Rich neighborhood. Then you start to ask yourself, are they really meeting the needs of the people on the ground, or something else happens? So the moment you go to this rabbit hole of some NGOs or most NGOs, yeah, you'll then understand why some agendas happen. Like, one thing I came to learn, and I've heard from many people, is go look at any country that is going through any turmoil. What is high? There's so many NGOs. People never ask where the funding comes from. Now, I'm not with beef with the NGOs. I'm just saying they're just a number that is way too high that you begin to question everything. And so what happens is people look down on themselves because they didn't work for an NGO. Well, you could just start something on your own. Whatever you can. Yes, things are tough. Facts. But hey, you can do something you love. Because at the end of it all, when disaster strikes, your car is of no use, your house is no use. Most of these things are of no use. It is just the community. Hatred is a syllabus that can be dropped. And love is a syllabus that can be embraced, more or less a core subject. But it's a choice for everyone. Because if we keep embracing hatred, where are we going? Which planet will we go to? You think the same hatred that will be in this planet won't be in that other planet? With the so-called entitlements and all this and all that, there's so much we can do together if we hold each other together. We could be our brother's keepers. We can be able to hold each other. You don't need to know the other person's religion. When I was involved in an accident last year, the people came to say me, nobody asked me my tribe, I don't know my religion. No, I needed help. You know, the sad story about it is when relatives were called, they all cared about the car. The riders, they made sure I was in that hospital. And to this very day, anytime I see a rider, I see family to me. The women at the groceries, the vendors, when I used to go and buy with my arm broken, they used to sell me double of what I had. And each time I see a vendor or a mama mboga, That's family to me. At the end of the day, hatred is a syllabus that can be dropped, and love is a core subject that should be embraced. But it's a choice that is very important and critical at the time that you are in. So please, drop this syllabus of hate and take the core subject of love. And let's embrace one another in our differences and find something that is common that we can work with. Remember, it's a choice. Get out of the damn circus and say, I'm not buying that ticket anymore.